what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we got some news about Straight Drop. Now, Straight Drop, aka Justin Johnson, is one of the guys who are alleged or is being accused of taking part in the shooting death of Memphis rap legend Young Dolph. Now, Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, man, he's been in court and he's been trying to fight to get his court case moved. He wants some changes because he believes he can't get a fair trial in Memphis. He thinks that because of the Young Dolph celebrity, because of all the bloggers covering this, all the things going on YouTube, all the things going on all over social media, that there is no way he could get a fair trial in Memphis. And to be honest, he might be kind of right. But let's check out this news clip that talks about exactly what's going on with the trial so far.
Justin Johnson, wearing a red gel uniform, was escorted into criminal court Friday. He's charged in connection with the deadly attack of rapper Young Dolph in 2021. After being cuffed to the chair behind his attorney, things got underway.
So as you heard right there, Straight Drop, aka Justin Johnson, and his partner Cornelia Smith, they were locked up not too long after the Young Dolph shooting took place. There was a manhunt, they were eventually captured, and they've been locked up ever since, man. So they've been going through this same routine of going back and forth to court, getting handcuffed in the chairs and all that for a while now. And it looks like they're up at bat again this time, trying to get put into motion to move some things in order for Justin Johnson and Cornelia Smith to get a fair trial for what their attorney believes, man. But let's check out some more of this story.
And we filed a motion to change the venue in this matter.
Defense attorney Luke Evans is asking for an outside pool of jurors for several reasons. He told the court, one being the extensive coverage to include social media.
Now, we can't lie, social media has played a huge part in this Young Dolph case ever since it happened. Like from the time that Young Dolph had lost his life, there were people with their cameras even viewing that situation, right? Everything afterwards, all the aftermath, all the alleged stuff in the streets. So they feel like there's some sort of bias against them already because they've already been painted as the villain. If they are the villain, I don't know. That's not for me to say. But it seems like in this situation, they don't look like the good guys. And what they're trying to do is move their jury or get a jury from somewhere else, either or, that way that they can get a fair trial. It seems like. But let's check out a little bit more.
Where he says threats have been made.
There are reactions in the media to this case that say things such as get a rope and a call for his lynching.
The judge inquiring about the many online
community. DA firing back saying the killing happened in Shelby County, so those right here should be a part of that jury.
So based on the end of that video, it sounds like the DA there in Shelby County wants to keep the case there. He's like, this crime took place in Shelby County, so we need to keep it in Shelby County. And we see what y'all are trying to do, man. You're just trying to bide for time, man. You grasping at straws at this point, man. You're trying your best to do whatever you can, but you're not going to be able to stop the inevitable if you're found guilty in this case, man. Because if you are found guilty in this case, you're going to jail for life. And I'm not sure about the potential death penalty or anything if that's on the line. But man, regardless, if they're found guilty in this case, Justin Johnson and Cornelia Smith, it's a wrap, bruh. It's a wrap. It's a done deal. But man, let's actually get to the news story that talks about a little bit more about what's going on in the case right now. All right, so let's check out this news story right here. So in the headline, it says this. It says, citing media coverage, man charged with killing rapper Young Dolph seeks non-Memphis jury. Now, why in the world would they be trying to seek a non-Memphis jury? Now, they're saying that they don't want a Memphis jury because of the potential for there to be some sort of bias, but I'm not buying that. I think they scared, man. I think they're really worried about people actually showing up with ill intent, things of that nature, because of what's been going on in Memphis. And if y'all need a refresher, in Memphis, it's been pretty much a war zone all last year, and then even leading into earlier this year because of everything that took place prior, right, with the Young Dolph situation. Not to mention other shootings and things that had nothing to do with it that are trying to be tied into it as well. But right now, it seems like there's a back and forth and people are really picking their shots. And the streets are saying and social media is saying that Young Dolph's people are out there spinning. I think he's just worried about a potential situation where he could get harmed, and he's trying to avoid that because there's a lot of things that you got to do going back and forth to court. And if he has to do that there in Shelby County, man, there's a higher potential for something to happen. Also, it might be a little bit of bias, man. I don't think he's going to get a jury anywhere in the state of Tennessee that's going to look at that footage and think, oh, man, we got to let this guy off, especially if they have all the evidence to back up why they have him as the lead suspect in this case. You know what I mean? You don't hear about Cornelius Smith's name as much as you hear about Straight Drop, a.k.a. Justin Johnson, and he's been at the forefront of this case so far. So the story starts off by saying this. It says, Memphis, Tennessee, a man charged with killing young Dolph cannot get a fair trial in Memphis due to the intense media attention and public visceral outrage, which is in quotes, over the slaying of beloved rapper in his hometown, a defense lawyer said Friday. Now, the defense attorney is trying to put it out there like young Dolph is so beloved and there's been so much public visceral outrage that, Straight Drop, he won't even get a chance. Like, there's no chance for him. But to be real, even if young Dolph wasn't famous, if this was just somebody regular, I don't think, based on what we've seen as far as video evidence and things of that nature, he would have much of a chance anyway. Let's keep it real, man. Let's be honest about that. Now, let's look at the rest of the story. It says, Justin Johnson's attorney asked the judge to bring in a jury from outside of Shelby County for the trial of Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith Jr. Both men have been charged with first-degree murder in the daytime ambush of young Dolph, who was buying cookies at a Memphis bakery when he was gunned down in November 2021. So at Makita's Bakery, man, that's the place where young Dolph lost his life. And they're the two men who are accused of being the shooters in this situation. The guys who had on the Bass Pro Shop hats, had on the mask over their face. One guy had the pistol, the other guy had the rifle, and they're saying that's Cornelius Smith and Justin Johnson, man. And they haven't been able to shake that, man. Most people already believe that, So I kind of almost understand. I kind of get it. And now as the story goes into more detail, it looks like they actually want to move the jury in. They want a jury to come in. Now that's expense in the state. That's expensive on the state to have people come in from outside the county. I don't even think, do they really think that this is going to get approved or the judge is going to be cool with this? I think that just based off of everything that they have going on in the trial and all the evidence that's levied against them in this trial, this is, like I said, I think this is a last ditch effort or something of that nature because there's no way that they think that this is really going to affect the trial. Now, the story goes on to say this. It says, Johnson's lawyer, Luke Evans, told Judge Jennifer J. Mitchell that the killing has received relentless attention from news outlets and on social media, where some commenters have called for Johnson to be lynched or killed in prison in an attempt to seek vengeance, not justice. Now, have things like that been said on social media? I don't doubt it, man. But I think most people have just been watching the story as it goes along. Like, nobody wants to see anybody not get their day in court, except for cats in the street. Like, dudes in the street, I'm pretty sure they live by a different code. They might want to handle things in the street. But now that these guys are arrested, it's going to be the normal court proceedings, man. It's going to be the normal situation that we see with anybody in these high-profile cases. And we've seen a lot in the last 3 years. Let's be real, man. So I don't think they're gonna get any type of special treatment, and I don't think they've been getting any type of worse treatment than anybody else who's accused of taking the life of a celebrity, man. And nowadays, if you take the life of a celebrity, you're already the bad guy. You know what I mean? Unless it was a situation where you were in the defense and you were in the right, then that's a little different. But in this situation where you allegedly sought out the person, where it was just a senseless act of violence in broad daylight, when everybody was just about to enjoy their Thanksgiving, man, people are not going to feel it, man. Regular hardworking people who go to work every day, they're not feeling this, man. They're never going to feel it. And to be real, I don't see this working. As a strategy, I don't see where they look to gain here. But man, let's continue with the story. So he's basically saying that they're playing chicken with his rights because he feels that a Memphis jury would be heavily, heavily, heavily biased in the favor of young Dolph and trying to find these guys guilty because their face has been everywhere. You know, this, for anybody who gets caught up in a crime, this is not the ideal situation because your face has been everywhere associated with it. And just based off association and reasoning skills, people are already going to kind of paint the picture that you're guilty. Then yes, you got YouTube videos galore with millions, hundreds of thousands of views talking about the situation, showing each step of the way where Straight Drop had did certain things, where he had hid certain things, where he was going out of town, he had to get captured in a whole nother state. All of that is going to play into everything that they've seen so far. And all those actions look like the actions of a guilty person. I am not saying that he's guilty because I don't know, but that's what it looks like. Now, in quotes, it says, "The victim in the case is beloved here," Evans said. Now, that's Straight Drop's attorney. Adding later that a jury from somewhere else lacks that personal connection to the crime. I doubt that because you're dealing with somebody who's a legit celebrity when you're talking about young Dolph. He already had millions of fans, and I'm pretty sure there's nowhere in Tennessee where they could pull a jury from that's going to not have some sort of understanding of who young Dolph was before or after this situation. You know what I mean? Now, Johnson and Smith have pleaded not guilty in the killing of young Dolph, whose real name was Adolph Thornton Jr. The rapper, producer, and independent music label owner was gunned down while he was visiting his hometown to see a sick relative and hand out Thanksgiving turkeys. Just remember, young Dolph's whole reason for being there was to do the turkey drive, man. He was trying to do a turkey drive. Like, that was his motivation. And then he just so happened to stop at Makita's Cookies because he was familiar with the place. That's his part of town. And he was just trying to show some love, you know, some hometown love and stuff like that, right? And then he tragically lost his life, man. It's a sad situation when you really think about, man, this dude was really doing for other people and lost his life. Now, known for his depictions of tough street life and his independent approach to music, young Dolph was admired for his charitable works in Memphis. Along with the Thanksgiving turkey giveaways, he donated thousands of dollars to high schools and paid rent and covered funeral costs for people in the Castelia Heights neighborhood where he was raised. A neighborhood street was named after young Dolph after his death. Now, when they paint that picture in the court, they say, look at this guy, the guy who ended up losing his life. He was given to high schools. He was given to like these hospitals. He was paying people's rent. He was covering funeral costs for people. He was doing so much for the community only for him to lose his life like that, man. You're going to look like the villain in this situation. I don't see any way you avoid that. Now, they also, in this story, drew comparisons to this case and the case of a local basketball star by the name of Lorenzen Wright. He was an NBA basketball star, well liked in the Memphis area, and he had a situation where his case also received heavy media attention. But the court was able to find impartial jurors for his 2022 trial. A man was found guilty in 2010 of slaying Wright. Now, there was a lot of speculation about who was involved and things like that, and there's some weird connections between that case and the young Dolph case for some reason, man. But what's wilder is they're still trying. I believe this is a last-ditch effort just to move the goalposts a little bit more for some reason. You know what I mean? Now, the story continues by saying Hagerman recommended that questionnaires be sent to a potential jury pool of about 150 to 200 people to gauge the effect of news coverage and social media commentary. Once the pool is windowed down, the judge would question the remaining members of the jury pool about the media coverage. So they want to do something similar to that other case where they send out surveys to see, if potential jurors have any bias because of the media, or do they have any knowledge of the case. Well, it's very common for people in that area to have knowledge of this case before it happens. So they're going to be having a hard time trying to find a jury pool that doesn't know anything about this case, no matter how hard you try, man. So this is crazy. Now, also they talk about the fact that the judge moved the case. So let's look at this. So Judge Mitchell set a hearing for February 9th to disclose her ruling on the change of venue motion. So that's about the jury pool and trying to get juries from somewhere else. Now, this is the part that's wild. She also reset the trial date from March 11th to June 3rd. So it looks like, regardless of what happens, Straight Drop's his court date, or his trial date, I should say, is going to be moved to the 3rd of June. So he's going to be looking, instead of looking at going to trial next month, he's going to be looking at going to trial this summer. Now, the story ends by saying some very important things. And this is where I think Jamarcus Johnson, who is Straight Drop's half-brother and is one of the key witnesses or key people in this case, might have already threw Straight Drop and Cornelius Smith under the bus. So check this out. Now, 2 other men were charged in the killing, which shocked Memphis and the entertainment world. Hernandez Govan, the alleged ringleader in this situation and the person who's kind of they're trying to build like a RICO case on him right now. Hernandez Govan has pleaded not guilty to organizing the killing. A trial date has not been set for him. Jamarcus Johnson pleaded guilty in June. Now, Jamarcus Johnson, once again, is the half-brother of Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop. Now, he pleaded guilty to 3 counts of serving as an accessory after the killing by helping Smith and Justin Johnson, his half-brother. So this is where this might have thrown him under the bus. It's kind of similar to the Gunner situation and why people were saying what they were saying about the guys in YSL. Because it's going to be hard for Cornelius Smith and Justin Johnson to both keep their not guilty verdict or to be proven, not guilty in this trial, which they claim, when one of the guys who was the main people who also was accused in the crime has already pled guilty to accessory. Accessory to what? What is he helping out? And why would he be helping out unless a crime had been committed? Like there would be no reason for him to help you out or be an accessory to a crime if there was no crime committed. So it's pretty much a done deal when you look at it from that aspect. It goes on to say, Jamarcus Johnson acknowledged helping the 2 shooting suspects communicate by cell phone while they were on the run from authorities, and helping one of them communicate with his probation officer. So he was basically a middleman for them to use the phone to communicate to their probation officer and to communicate probably amongst each other and stuff like that, man, on when they're going to turn themselves in or if they're going to make a run for it, all that. And remember, they were all arrested around the same time or whatnot, and they got caught up and captured out of state. Well, he pretty much made it so that their case is that much harder in this trial. Now, it also says this. It says Mitchell is the second judge to preside over the case. Judge Lee Coffey, he had to remove himself in October after he was ordered to do so by the Tennessee Court of Appeals because of some communication or whatnot that happened in the court since he was the original judge in the case. So now this new judge has moved the case to the 3rd of June, and it looks like she's actually going to go in front of the court on the 9th, or tell the court on the 9th her decision on whether they're going to move the jury or not, man. So what do y'all think, man? Is this a last-ditch effort to move the goalposts, or is it a possibility that Straight Drop's attorney thinks that they could get a not guilty verdict in this trial with the evidence that they have, man? Now, to be honest, they were on them pretty quick. These guys were arrested not too long. It was already rumors, YouTube videos out there, people talking about, Straight Drop and Cornelius Smith and putting their picture all over the place. So it wasn't hard for social media to crack this case. So I'm wondering what actual evidence they have in the discovery. And is there a potential for these guys to catch some sort of deal in this situation? Because the way I look at it is their best bet is probably getting a deal. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this situation, man. Do you think that Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith are a done deal? I mean, their co-defendant already pleaded guilty to being an accessory, and that kind of threw him under the bus? Or do you believe that with this situation, anything can happen? Because if they go to trial, like I said, anything can happen. And we've seen it before in the past, especially when rappers and entertainers are involved. Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace. Oh yeah, and if you want to check out my video about Young Dolph's homies allegedly sliding, go ahead and check that. Click the link there. And also, if you want to check my video about Big Jook, click that link right next to it. And we out of here. Peace.